Today, I want to take you through my experience obtaining the platinum in Ghost of Yōtei. But in case you're thinking that's too easy, I'm going to obtain the entire platinum on the hardest difficulty, lethal. With that in mind, I hope you're ready to see a lot of this. Now, for those out of the loop, this is a sequel to one of my favourite games of all time, Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima takes place on an island off the coast of Japan. In the game we play as Jin Sakai, a disgraced samurai battling the invading Mongol army while at the same time confronting what it means to be a samurai. Now, in case you're wondering, shooting a beehive with a bow and arrow to sting Mongolians to death? Grand. Sneaking up behind a Mongolian and booting him off a cliff? This time, we take on the role of a mercenary called Atsu, seeking revenge against the Yotei 6 for murdering her family 16 years ago. Now, with the Sahi in hand, if you don't mind, it's time for a white boy to speak a little Japanese. After learning that Atsu moved south and began working as a mercenary for the past 16 years, we Ora walk away into town and cut down a gaggle of pricks hoofing rocks at a horse as we close in on the snake, having a pish up with the lads. After offering him a light, he sends his mates out to rough us up. Unfortunately for them, I'm no stranger to ghost combat. After platinuming Tsushima twice, I make quick work of them and... I need to remember we're on lethal difficulty here. Alright, well now that is done with just one death. It's time to get into one of the core mechanics of the franchise, duels, and who better to skin first than a snake. After a couple of attempts I get him low enough to enter the next phase when he headbutts me like a prime sedan, sending me into the past. Not finished with dirty tricks, he soon pocket sands me, causing me to hit the deck. Aiming his pistol at me, it's time for a trick of my own. Pocket Wolf. Saved, I now get his health low enough to trigger another new mechanic to the franchise, disarming. For all my efforts, I receive a katana to the shoulder, but luckily, Atsu is able to reenact asking for directions in London to save herself. And with that battle, we score our first trophy for defeating the snake. No going back now. After waking up to find Atsu in the same position as my fiancé when we go out for a drink, we're given our new title.
Oh no.
The horse we saved earlier. Don't worry, after what happened to my horse in the previous installment, I'm not going to let any harm come to you. We now ride our steed through the most hype opening I've experienced, to the site of Mount Ezo. Whipping out our new spyglass, we spy 3 locations to begin our hunt.
I grew up under that tree. The old inn. Mount Yotei.
Alright, so first stop home. On our way, we find out running through white flowers on horseback gives you a massive speed boost. Using this to our advantage, we swiftly arrive at our destination. Here, we find a new type of side activity, memories. Surprisingly, there are no trophies actually associated with these, however, we end up seeing a few of them when collecting other trophies. This first memory, we learn to shred this shamisen.
You're just mad because I'll be able to do something with my fucking guitar in hands that you'll never be able to achieve in your entire life, kid. So yeah, you're gay.
The replacement for the flute in the first game. We then help our father forge a sword. Another thing we'll return to anytime we upgrade our weapons, which we'll have to do as much as possible in this difficulty if I plan to get through some of the fights without dying 10 times.
Masterpiece. To protect our family.
Yeah, Masterpiece didn't do a great job at doing that. So after some sparring with our brother, we finish the memory and have a first look at the map. Similar to the first game, the map is divided into areas, however this time they're unlocked in a slightly less linear path. We have the choice between hunting the Oni or the Kitsune first in their respective areas. Another new feature is the ability to find, be given, or purchase maps that will greatly help us with our trophy hunting for collectibles, if I can ever find where to place them. After wasting all that time, we run into a monk. Oh my fucking god, the horse.
Not gonna let any harm come to you.
Well, anyway, we follow the monk to find the first Altar of Reflection. I reckon my best bet is to start with all possible melee combat upgrades, as this will be the hardest combat style in the game when compared to range and stealth. This is perfectly demonstrated in this next fight. Luckily, Pocket Wolf saves me again. Following a golden bird, I find the first of many location types in the game, the hot springs. After carefully checking my surroundings and make sure my partner doesn't walk in right as Atsu flashes cheeks, I read the sign and hop in. When we bathe in them, we increase our health by a minor amount. They're also linked to a body, mind and spirit trophy we will be working towards the entire game. Exiting the hot springs, I equip some new drip, ready to move on. I find a merchant scavenger named Toro, who sells me a charm that will carry me through the first half of the game, the Charm of Last Chance. This charm will automatically trigger when I suffer lethal damage, so it triggers my heal technique, and that keeps me in the fight. With enemies killing me in 1 to 2 hits, this is invaluable. The downside is it uses 1/3 of my max spirit each time. However, to be honest, I didn't find myself using spirit for abilities very often. It just wasn't worth killing a single enemy when compared to the ability of the charm. After equipping my new charm, I run into a trap where its technique is perfectly demonstrated. This also triggers a cutscene we will frequently see throughout the game, interrogations. Not only do these give me hints towards new side quests in the Yotei 6, but they also contribute to their own trophy, very persuasive. In this trophy I have to perform 10 interrogations, not really one we need to put a lot of focus on as they should just come naturally through playing the game. I then find another Altar of Reflection and run into a duel against the mighty Manjiro, Bear of Ezo. Settle in for this one, this was no easy feat.
Lord Saito's honor, I challenge you, a fight to the death. I surrender.
After that grueling battle, I find a stable master who starts a new side quest. I swiftly end his attackers and help him find his way to his runaway horses. Through this, we get to choose our horse for the rest of the game. Having both been traumatized by fire, I decide to keep my horse.
Gotten this far. Want to stick with me?
Now to pick a name. Well, I'll give you 3 guesses which one we're going to be choosing.
Momura.
Fire is essential for life.
See, pal, it's essential. Just looking out for you. With this, we also achieve our next trophy for naming him. Grand. Time to head for Mount Yotei. I'm dying for those Jokatanas. On the way, we find another hot springs of bonus, and then taking the mountain trail, I find Hanbei, an old bounty hunter and friend to our family. He makes us slap rocks and cut bamboo with our left hand, which is a bit like having a wank with your offhand. You'll get there eventually, but it's not quite as satisfying. After feeling that bamboo strike, we get a flashback that reveals Atsu led Lord Saito to our home, where he discovers our father, who fled from Saito's clan, leading to his thirst for vengeance. Given his own family died, while our fathers flourished. Trip down memory lane over, we finally get our hands on Jokatanas, and put them to good use against some attackers. The katanas are best used against polearms, whereas a single katana should be used against katana wielders. Similar to the reputation system in the first game, we now gain a new title for our bounty posters. Alright, leaving the mountain, I run into a couple of encounters that tell me more about the Oni and the Kitsune. The Kitsune is in Teshio Ridge, and the Oni is Shikari Plains. Moving on to a main quest at the Old Inn, we defeat some of Saito's men and unlock a new hub of sorts. Here, we can buy equipment such as the bow, hand in bounties, buy maps, and more. There's one of these in each of the main areas throughout the game. I buy a bow in preparation to channel my inner dog, collecting a slew of bounties. I'm doing this for the Master Bounty Hunter trophy. In it, I'll have to hunt down and hand in a total of 31, so best to take as many as I can, when I can. Since these bounties might be challenging, I'm also going to return home to my dad's forge and upgrade my katana. There's also a trophy for fully upgrading this, so I want to do it as quick as possible, and at the end of the day, it's going to make my life a lot easier. On the way to my first bounty, I find another golden bird, which instantly summons my undiagnosed ADHD and causes me to drop everything to chase it. And for my mental illness, I'm once again rewarded. Here, you can see it's led me to a mountain reliquary. Puzzles left behind by a mysterious mountain boy that when solved give me charms. They also contribute to their own trophy. Right, On to the first bounty. These are one of my favourite side objectives in the game. Few of them as simple as go here, kill, hand in. Many of them actually had class wee stories to complement them. Obviously I get to kill eventually. After all, we are trying to experience all the exaggerated swagger of an Edo period bounty hunter. Right, well obviously Genzo didn't have enough of his fight milk.
Drink it every morning so I can fight like a crowd.
We take him down, no bother. For our trouble, we're blessed with the Talibomber's very own pocket sound.
Oh, what is that sound? Oh, Jesus!
Alright, let's hand in our first bounty and we can officially take it off the list. Off the back of our first successful bounty, I get a taste for it, so we'll quickly relive life in Belfast in the 1970s and dodge some bombs to take down Black Powder EP. Another quick bounty and I decide to knock out a couple of easy trophies. So I get Fireside by flicking my banjo strings, and Memento for photographing the act. Campfire safely extinguished. To avoid any prior incidents, I make my way to the gambling den to start a quick side quest, helping the owner rid it of undesirables. This nets me the Good with Coin trophy. We're finally starting to build a bit of momentum. So let's keep this going by quickly moving on to, ooh, you can gamble in this game. Here, to be fair, I've just knocked out 3 trophies back to back, so I can take a wee breather to relax. That was actually pretty fun. I'll do one more. Fuck! Oh, okay. I feel something building up here. I reckon it's best that we just move on before I lose all of my coins. Let's bring it down a level and relax with a quick hot spring. Lovely. Much better. Alright, refreshed. Let's have a go at another side activity. Camps. Nothing too surprising here. Kill everyone in the camp, find the boss, kill him. There are a total of 22 camps across the entire map and we need to beat them all to get the For the Living trophy. We'll also be rewarded with an Altar of Reflection. We found a few of these already, but to get the Moments of Reflection trophy we need to find 30. There's actually 61 in the game anyway, so we're going to get this naturally just from playing, but sure, the more we get, the easier the game's going to become. So we cut our way through the camp to find the Bone Crusher. After beating him, we enter a phase new to the sequel, where we have to prevent his pals from helping him back up.
You'll have to live with this defeat.
In doing so, we get a 3-for-1 deal, clearing a camp, claiming another bounty, and praying at another altar. Completing this triggers a cutscene where we see Lord Saito's men are getting the heebies.
They say it was attacked by an Onryo.
I know.
Time for some upgrades. Another altar in Fox Den later, we run into a new side objective, Wolf Dens. Following our pal, we find some wolf hunters, and we also manage to score ourselves another trophy. Soon after we pick up another altar. Every skill point this early on is so crucial to make the later areas easier, so we make sure not to waste any on non-combat critical abilities, such as putting nitrous on Homura. Okay, so I think you're getting the gist of things. We've now covered the majority of what we'll be doing throughout the run. Clear as many side objectives until I get bored, do a main quest, repeat. Hopefully by the time we finish the main story, we'll have picked up the majority of the trophies. In the spirit of that, let's quickly knock out some side objectives, starting with the camp you see me clearing out to score another Altar of Reflection. Next, let's follow another bird to a wolf, to then follow to some more hunters, or to put it more simply, hunt a bird to find a hunter hunting hunters alongside me, a hunter. Hunters hunted, let's grab 2 more Altars of Reflection. Then quickly cut our way through a camp to score a 3rd. Like entering competitive scissoring, we start a bushfire to score another trophy. Fuck off. We now find another side activity, Dueling Trees. These are essentially the same as the Ronin jewels found throughout Ghost of Tsushima. Approaching the tree, we run into a fella who mentions someone called Takezo.
The master duelist Takezo visits these trees.
He spills the beans on a master duelist, probably nothing to worry about there. we'll find these trees throughout the first few areas of the game, and after beating each duelist, Takezo will reveal himself, and then we can head off to duel him. Defeating the duelist, we get a bit more background about Takezo. Again, I'm sure there's nothing too much to worry about.
The god of battle blessed his left and right hand.
Alright, just before I need to head off to work, why not dander up to the top of my Yotei to see the crack? This also counts as the first of 13 shrine climbs that we'll have to complete as part of the mind, body and spirit trophy. Efforts rewarded, we get a charm that will come in handy for some boss fights down the line, as well as the inheritance trophy and a final altar of reflection for the session. Making our way through a cave, we meet a fellow Shamazan Strummer. Killing him gains us another bounty and a new armor set, the Bounty Hunter set. Unfortunately no, not that Bounty Hunter set, but this one does have its perks. In trading off normal parries, we gain 3 follow-up attacks every time we score a perfect parry. Combine this with some charms that increase parry windows, and I think you can see where this is going. Fuck. Shite. Nearly. Fuck. Fuck. There. Perfect. New armor in hand, let's quickly take off another fox down in Hot Spring. Now that we've cleaned up a good amount of side objectives and gotten some new armor, let's move on to the next area, Ishikari Plain. Before we get there though, we need to complete another main quest. Making our way to a gate, we have to scam our way into a travel permit.
I've business in Ishikari Plain.
Not without a travel permit, you don't.
Maybe this will help.
Nothing clears the mind like the sound of coin. Here.
Wait here. I have to verify its authenticity.
Well, that was actually quite easy. Making our way through the gate, we run into a mysterious samurai and help him take down some attackers. Afterwards, he invites us to help him to find some of his missing men. Having found his men being roasted like a boss man's kebab, we make camp where it is revealed that he is in fact our brother, Junbei. With this revelation, we grab another trophy, Twin Wolves. Reunion over, we make our way through the valley where we run into another gate, this time guarded by a new enemy type, Sickle Wielders. We have a hard time dealing with them using our katana, so we'll want to grab the weapon that deals with them as soon as we can in Ishikari Plain. Speaking of, we finally arrive. In the Matsume camp, we're challenged by this fella and his impeccable hat to cut some bamboo, another bamboo off the list and a honking hat, all in one. Boot it out, we're shown 2 cutscenes, one displaying our new reputation title and another showing some new laid traps to catch us when we're on horseback. And here it is, let's scout out some locations.
Junbei said the market was near the castle. This must be it. That must be the island where Sensei Takahashi is hiding out. I could use his Yari technique against the Oni raiders. Ishikari Castle. The Oni's been busy fortifying its walls. That won't stop me. We have enough to get started.
A hop, skip and a jump later, we found an altar and the first of 15 Sumi paintings needed for the Art Asai trophy. There's actually 18 total in the game, however, only 3 room paintings count towards the trophy. Continuing down the coastline, we run into a bounty for Toshi the Torchin. Is that a fucking flamethrower? A couple of char-grilled Atsus later, we managed to finally take him down. We haven't just come down to the coast to explore, this is actually the location of the Yari Master. He mistakes us for an Oni raider, but luckily we have the dual katanas, which are the counter to the Yari, so we take him down with relative ease. With that, he hands us a blunt stick and takes us down to the sea to catch fish like Jeremy Wade.
It's a measure of my immersion within the tribe that spearing fish is becoming second nature.
Where I come from, if something looks pretty, you don't stick a spear through it. But I mean, everything looks pretty here. You've got to eat something, you've got to stick a spear through something. If you didn't do that, you'd starve.
After shanking fish, we're taught the typhoon kick. Oh, we'll get to that later. After shafting some more raiders, we managed to disarm one and return his sword to him, pointy end first, to get the "you drop this" trophy. We now have the Yari in our arsenal, which is perfect for taking down dual wielders. So we're going to need to master each weapon by unlocking all of its skills. I've decided to use all the altars in each area to fully upgrade its corresponding weapon, as it felt pretty fitting and added another little challenge, since there wasn't enough already. After fucking about with statues for 15 minutes, I broke and used a guide to knock out another reliquary.
Another gift.
Some more adventuring down, I polish off a couple of side objectives in the main quest before grabbing a few more side objectives, including a camp and a bounty. I even get another trophy for picking up my 10th bottle. So why do we grab this wolf den? Let's talk about the wolf's inclusion. Having seen the gameplay trailer, I was a wee bit cautious with this addition. If the wolf was just something you could call in to take down enemies with and it would probably feel a bit cheap and get heavily used to take down tougher enemies. I'm actually really happy with how they've done it. Rather than say a cooldown bar that counts down summoning times, we're just surprised by the wolf's appearance. It actually surprised me every time, so they timed them out really, really well. It also gave this feeling that the wolf is actually following us at all times, ready to pounce. The wolf can also be used in stealth sections, specifically when clearing camps. To upgrade our wolf's abilities, we complete these wolf dens. Definitely a contender for my favourite side objective. I mean, just watch this. He can even accompany us in standoff moments just like these. After a couple of dens, we learn a new song for the Shamazin that lets us summon the wolf more often, which I'll do at every camp from now until the end of the game. This song also counts towards the Like Mother, Like Daughter trophy. Whilst chasing the tail, I get sidetracked, no surprises there, and grab another few side objectives. A bloke also crashes our camp, but teaches me another song for the trouble. This time it's a Song of Shrines, which sets our guiding wind to lead us to, shrines. Throughout the game we'll find more of these songs that lead us to specific side objectives. They'll even tell us when we found them all for an area. A fun way to help us get more trophies without filling the screen with hundreds of markers. Okay, time to lock in and finish this tale. At the end of the cave we find the Undying Samurai. We'll see about that. Myth broken, we get another new armour set, the Undying Armour. And I can tell you now, this did not hold true, as you'll soon see when we face the Oni. The armour does however come in handy for duels, as it gives us several bonuses when weapon aligned, which we need to be in every duel to have a chance of winning. As you can see, we knock out a few more side objectives before moving on to the next main quest, but now you can probably see a trend. There's so many side objectives in the game, I want to grab as many as possible when progressing, to prevent a load of backtracking later. In general, we finish every main objective in an area before moving through the main quest towards the Yotei member that we're hunting. It also means that we're as prepared as possible for them, and trust me, we'll need to be. I free a man's forge for the Yari Master, which I'll need to do to finish all of his side objectives. I start another main quest. This one's for a bounty, which seems to be a British man based on digital evidence, called Mad Garo. We're once again joined by our brother who helps us listen in on a conversation in the pub to find out where Garo is hiding.
Right.
While hunting for him, we complete the final interrogation needed for the very persuasive trophy. Chasing Garo, he tries to make a Shinzo Abe of us and throws bombs on horseback until we finally catch him for a quick duel. Our plan was to use Mad Garo to get inside the Uni's castle, as he has a bounty on his head, but our brother whips him away before we get the chance. Let's push on. We grab another trophy for breaking someone off a cliff, then grab a couple of altars, a painting, and a bounty. For completing the side objectives, the Yari Master rewards us with a special attack that uses one spirit and lets us shish kebab our foes. Jet to the tits, and unleash my fury and cause the enemy captain to stumble, bagging me the horror trophy. I'll follow that up with the Way of the Yari trophy. To celebrate, a sweet chin music a tree, and get a skin for my Yari. With newfound energy, I grab another bounty and knock out 3 camps back to back. After finding the bomb maker, I channel my ancestors and unlock the ability to make bombs, which can be used as quick throw weapons that will be handy for taking down groups of enemies without unsheathing my sword. Continuing on with the bomb maker, we dome a bear and a lot of flash bombs. Completing this side quest gives us the gift for destruction trophy. Before starting another main quest, I take another soak, pray at a couple of altars, and leg it up some shrines. Soon after, finding another tune to belt. This time, the Song of Wellbeing, also known as Freebird. This tune leads us to Hot Springs. Junpei gives us a dirty Joe, and we can't get back my Goro.
Commander Wada refused to release him.
So instead, we use the next best thing. Him. Bringing him to the Oni, we managed to get inside the castle and... holy fuck. Is that our Jamie Lee? Putting the charm on.
Shame to hide a face like that behind a mask.
We trigger a flashback that shows us that the Oni was the one to kill her dad. To vent our frustration, we beaten this big fella and steal the keys to the cells. Freeing her brother, we have a wee piss up.
Is that sake?
And sneak into the castle, ready to fight the Oni. Turns out, dramatically staring at our dad's sword and having a flashback gives the Oni a couple of hints to our identity, so when we enter his keep, he ambushes us, throwing Atsu clean through the scaffolding, triggering flashbacks to fighting Gary Smith and Bully. We just about managed to escape the castle by nutting reinforcements our horse. Probably not great for him, but, you know, I suppose it can't get much worse. After all that stress, it's time to relax with some fishing to pick up another trophy. We also do some fashion shopping and equip the perfect mask. It's platinum and everything. Peace over, we return to the Matsume camp to try and break out Magoro. If he was able to escape the castle, he can tell us how to break in. Of course things don't go to plan, and we once again get ambushed by the big red fucker. Content with burning bridges, he causes us to fall into the water below. After drying ourselves off, we're finally given the rank of Onyo and shown that Saito's personal guard are now out to get us.
You're going to tell us everything we want to know about this Onyo.
Big onion, look at that. Woo! To the good onion. Good onion is a heavy onion. This is a 6-pound onion. It's also an onion where the onion is put. This is the tip of the onion, The onion is not the knife around the onion. Remove the pepper skin of the onion. Dice an onion. Cut the onion in half.
We do a short main quest that gives us the Oni's flame quick weapon, that lets us light our weapon on fire, and it's time to finally break into the Oni's castle and take him out for good. Sneaking up the Oni's back passage,
This place does have a smell to it.
we commit a war crime, then into a prison mine where alongside Reznov we fight our way to the surface.
This is step 1. Now we take Mokuta. What is step 2? 3. 4. Unleash the horde. 5.
After breaking free, we split ways with our brother and open the door to the keep to challenge the Oni. First thing to account for in this fight, the Oni's rather large sword, which dwarfs ours. However, it's important to remember it's not the size of the katana, but what you do with it. Yeah, but also sometimes it's just a big sword. I tried to use my spear for the extra reach, but his attacks are really quick, and I found it harder to parry with them than my katana. However, utilising pocket sand and the occasional sake bottle to interrupt his larger attacks, it lets me poke away at him, and we handily win the fight. And of course there's another health bar. Well, to be fair, I should have known better than beating a boss on lethal in the second attempt, but as long as the second phase isn't much harder, we should be okay. Oh no. The Oni lights his Adachi on fire now, making it impossible to block for his light attacks, and requiring a parry for his heavier. He's also really fast for a big heifer of a fella. Since I need a parry anyway, I switched to the bounty hunter armor. If I can learn the timings, I should be able to get in 3 easy hits with each perfect parry. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get the timing for his lunge attack. Coming to the realisation I can't perfect parry consistently enough with every hit from him depleting my entire health bar, I need to focus on dodging, so I swap back to the Undying armor. Starting to get desperate, I even try using flash bombs, but he rolls out of the way easily and attacks fast. So the only thing keeping me in this fight is a charm that heals me when I take lethal damage at the cost of a spirit. And up until now, I haven't paid much attention to the charms, but I'm gonna have to if I want to win this duel. That's when I had a brilliant idea. Fight fire with fire. First, I re-equip the bounty hunter armor. No, I haven't just lost the plot. There is a method to the madness, and it'll make sense in a minute. Second, I equip my father's charm, which returns a moderate amount of health anytime I perfect parry. Although my standard parries are disabled, my perfect parry window is increased with my fully upgraded Bounty Hunter armor. Next, I equip the Charm of Stolen Flame, which ignites my weapon every time I parry a fire attack. It's all coming together now, isn't it? I now equip the Charm of Fire Mastery to increase the damage of my Oni's flame ability that I'll use when his Adachi isn't on fire or when I get space and I don't want to risk a perfect parry. Finally, I use the Charm of... Jesus. Homushubi to inflict increased fire damage to enemies. So, in summary, every perfect block gives me 3 follow-up attacks and ignites my sword. The damage is then increased to those attacks. After my 3 strikes, my sword is also unblockable. And with that, it's time. Cue the edit. Fuck. Defeat it, I'm even given the option to suspend the duel. All hope is lost. Pressing on, I die again and again and again for the next 40 minutes. Well, that is until... Hands sweating like my very controllers imbued with Oni's flame. I win. I hope. Please no more stages. Oh, thank God. With that, we tag team the Oni's dome piece and I can finally rest. Oh fuck, I've worked in 25 minutes. Whew. After a hard day's work that paled in comparison to beating that boss, I boot up the PlayStation to a scene of Saito addressing the spider and dragon, who also turn out to be his sons.
Forgive us, Father.
My Onyo armor gets an upgrade, which I will then not use for the remainder of the game. Okay, time to relax and do some cleanup before we move on to the next area. A few hours later, and we've ticked off another 3 shrines, a painting, a 3-for-1 bounty, 3 altars, a bamboo strike, 2 jewels, a fox den, and finally, a hot spring. We also rip our arse to shreds trying to find this bowing spot. These spots are scattered throughout the map that trigger particle effects whenever we bow in front of them, and we need to find 10 of these to get the Speaking with the Land trophy. I quickly interrupt some Americans trying to shoot our wolf pal, which triggers another wolf den. Upon completion, we get to name her. Let's go with,
Kiba.
Sure. A couple of flicks of the old coin couldn't hurt. Ah, you dirty stinking rat losing this. Ooh, let's calm down again and learn another song. This time, the Song of Revenge. This one will track Yotei camps for us. On the way to a new tale, Lee Harvey Oswald takes a pop at us from the grassy knoll. Dispatching of him, we reach a mysterious gate. Pushing through the gate, we seem to have fallen through reality into Silent Hill. Right, well this fella seems to think that we're his dead daughter, so we're going to lean into his delusions in an attempt to score some new armour. To get through the locked gate in the area, we need to find 3 keys hidden around. While nosing around, I spot a pagoda and can't help myself but climb it and get rewarded with a steel bell end for the effort.
What the fuck?
Obviously we're going to take the quick way down.
You thinking what I'm thinking, partner? Aim for the bushes.
Oof, kneecaps now embedded in my brain. I pick up another bamboo strike whilst navigating a bamboo maze to grab another key. After defeating an actual Ghost of Yōtei, we get the Spider Lily armour. To be honest, I didn't use it for the rest of the run, but upon rereading the abilities while editing here, it actually looks pretty decent. A quick hop, skip, duel and an altar later, I think it's time to jump into another main quest. So we sneak into one of Saito's training camps and we actually run into the big man himself. Failing to assassinate him, he invites us outside for a scrap. As you can imagine, this doesn't go particularly well. I try a few different tactics on him, but I just can't get the timings right. Worst of all, I come tantalisingly close a couple of times, I just can't hold my nerve. On the bright side though, I pick up the charming trophy for upgrading charms 10 times. Fearing another Oni situation, I need to lock in. 28 minutes and 32 deaths later, I finally managed to get him low enough to trigger getting fucking nuked from orbit to interrupt the fight and save my sanity. So that fight doesn't really bode well for what I imagine is going to be the final duel in the game. Filled with adrenaline though, I knock out 3 camps with the help of Kiba and a bounty. Best of all, with each of these camps ending with an altar of reflection, I grab a big milestone trophy, Moments of Reflection. Reflecting on my fight with the Oni, I've come to a realisation that I'm missing something. A big fuck off sword for instance. Let's rectify that now and head over to the Adachi Master's dojo. Meeting the Master, he trains us to wield the sword and we put it to good use against some brutes. The Adachi is the weapon aligned against the big lads, so channeling Mr. Guts Berserk, we deal increased damage to brutes and unlock a special move, letting us punt enemies in the face to interrupt their larger attacks. Evidently the worst part of all of this is we could have went here and unlocked the Adachi before fighting the Oni, but alas, that is the joy of blind playthroughs. Head into a base camp, we collect some more goodies from a shrine to the ghost, and pick up not just a skin for our Adachi, but also the purely decorative trophy. Wanting to test it out, I knock out another few side objectives, including grilling a bear during the bounty for Bear Grylls, who, if I can do a wee side tangent here, when I was a kid I was a scout, which is sort of this club where grown men take you into the forest and teach you how to boil an egg in a campfire. We had this big open day, and Bear Grylls was supposed to show up in a helicopter, and believe it or not, he didn't bother his arse. Must have been too busy getting pished on by Mel B. To be fair, when I say it out loud, actually, he might have been in the right there. Okay, with that aside, we find another bowing spot and go for a snooze, which triggers some undealt with PTSD from my previous encounters with Saito. More like fucking Shito, am I right? Yeah! Defeating the final duelist, I'm graced with the presence of the man himself, Takezo.
Are you another disciple?
Just a vagabond.
Or, I guess it's not him. Most obvious plot twist ever later, we meet Takezo at his dueling tree and follow him down to the beach to take him on. Let's see what's so unrivaled about him. Fair enough. On my next attempt though, I do actually get him low enough to enter his second phase. All in all, not that bad. You know what, I'd heard a lot of people talking about this duel saying how hard it was. Some people even saying it's the hardest duel in the game. But obviously my experience with the Oni has allowed me to reach levels beyond the average player. And, there it is. Okay, well, now that I know it's coming, it shouldn't be too hard to dodge. 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 Block? Anything? I'll be honest, I don't even have the energy to count the amount of deaths I've gone through so far. Not only is he fast, but every hit is a one-shot, and he swaps between the ore, which effectively is a polearm, and his katana. I try everything in my arsenal, dual katanas, adachi, pocket sand, shooting him with arrows. Nothing sticks. The familiar suspend duel option flashes, and this time I think I really will pass, because it's not actually story essential to beat him, and I can come back when I'm a lot stronger later. But then, I have an epiphany. Overclocking my brain to allow a second brain cell to form. I think back to those 30 altars from earlier, and wasn't one of the abilities I unlocked to do with parrying with the dual katanas? And that's when I could see it. My heavy swings with the dual katanas parry? Surely it couldn't be as easy as that, could it? Well, it's exactly that. Now, mashing the triangle button at speeds faster than the human eye can process, I enter Ultra Instinct, and I get closer and closer and closer to winning the duel. Finally, the hardest duel in the game is... for fuck. Turns out that was just a warm-up duel, and we're actually going to have to fight him again at the top of Mount Yotei after equipping all of his charms. I get the feeling that might be the duel that all these folk keep talking about. Well, that being said, it's definitely an endgame issue, so for now, let's continue with the side objectives, completing which give me the opportunity to progress my Adachi skills and unlock the Mountain Breaker move. Similar to the Shank of the Yari that costs 1 spirit, this is a technique unique to the Adachi. Essentially, just a big swing, and in honesty, not all that useful. However, in completing the side quest, we grab the Way of the Adachi trophy. We've now tidied up most of this area. Before taking the ferry north towards the Kitsune, let's put Watanabe mode on and climb this final shrine. Making our way north, we now land in a sort of halfway area between the Yotei grasslands and Teshio Ridge. This is the home to the Ainu, the indigenous people from the northern region of Japan. So there isn't too much of interest in this area from a trophy point of view, and I don't want to spoil the main story elements, so here are some of the highlights. We unlock the Ainu robes, helpful for finding collectibles and increasing golden bird capabilities. This mini tail that has us being hunted by a big scary bear, ending with us murdering the big scary bear. Learning another song, Monjuro the bear fucking dies. A baby bear rolls down a hill. Side note, there are more bears in this area than a gay nightclub. With all that done and dusted, we've unlocked this trophy. Before we head to Teshio Ridge, let's have a look at the scoreboard. Nice, so we're definitely making a lot of progress, and with any trophy hunt in an open world game, you tend to get a lot of trophies early on, and then there's a big gap in the middle of the game, until the end game, where you start collecting the rest of the collectibles. Joining a group of merchants, we trudge over the Misty Mountains, straight into an ambush laid out by the Kitsune. He roofies us with a kunai and leaves us for dead in the snow. Not ready to die, however, Atsu slowly makes her way through the storm to a cave where we're introduced to a mechanic unique to this area. So when storms hit Teshio Ridge, it causes our health bar to shrink, similar to my tackle and bait when I climb out of the cold plunge. The only way to get that health back is to stand near fire. Fortunately for us though, on lethal, enemies kill us in 1 or 2 hits anyway, so shrinking the health bar doesn't really matter. And with that, we finally arrive. As always, let's scout out some locations.
Since we're headed to the Red Crane Inn, as good a place as any to ask about the Kitsune. That's where I'll find Master Enomoto. He could teach me the way of the Kusarigama.
Having watched the Demon Slayer movie recently, I beeline it for the Kurosagama Master, but along the way get sidetracked by a tail. Having only really used 1 armor set throughout the game, so far I'm in need of something a bit more useful, so I decided to put my Rockashira fantasies on hold and finish the tail. Nothing too exciting here, the tail has us following snow statues, doing so grants us the red kimono. This armor set is best for stealth, which is something we're lacking so far, and it fits the theme of this area very well. It also improves the distance of the Kurosagama assassination, which at this point I don't actually know what that means, but I'm going to get to use it very, very soon. Speaking of, let's go and get it. Helping the master fend off some ninjas, he teaches us the ways of the Kurosagama, and with that continual butchering of the pronunciation, I'm just going to start calling it the ball and chain. So this weapon is used against shields, you can smash them with the ball and then get in close with the claw to finish them off. Its heavy attack lets us swing the ball around the circle, hitting everybody in the radius. Completing this mission gives us the Tools of War trophy for collecting every melee weapon in the game, so that's another major milestone. Clearing out a camp, we also find a puzzle box on the ground. So we need 12 of these for the Trickster Fox trophy. Solving them gives us a small reward. The downside is they're harder to solve each time, but we don't really worry about that until near the end of the game. To get ourselves ready for this area, let's quickly upgrade the red kimono and our wolf katana. So with Teshio Ridge, we have a lot of the typical camps, but there's also a new version, hideouts. So these are camps for the Kitsune's followers, the Ninetails. To access them, we have to solve puzzles at the door. Brilliant, more puzzles. And for reasons we'll discover later, I found these puzzles particularly hard. Each hideout also ends with an altar and another one of those puzzle boxes. Moving on, we unlock another song, which locates vanity gear, and we're almost there on the Like Mother, Like Daughter trophy. Right off the bat in Teshio Ridge, I've spent a few hours cleaning up side activities, so we'll have much less to do after defeating the Kitsune. During one of these activities, I finally figure out what the ball and chain assassination actually is, and let me just say, we're going to be putting this to very, very good use. Speaking of which, using it from the bush here gives us the Owl's Talon trophy. All this practice with the ball and chain has unlocked its special skill, which drags an enemy over to us for an easy kill. We also unlock the final Way Of trophy. In honour of that, let's grab some upgrades and knock out a third reliquary, leaving just 2 to go. Some gambling and a short side quest later, we get another armour set, the Dragonfly armour. Discovering a farm, we get into a standoff that's quickly interrupted with some kunai. Defeating the Ninetales, a lady teaches us how to use the kunai, a new quickfire weapon, by playing Fruit Ninja. With this, we have a new task: find and defend all contested farms in Teshio Ridge. A few side objectives later, we do just that, and get the Kunai Defender trophy. Pushing on, I think I've completed the majority of side content for this area, so it's time to make our way through the main quests. Entering a pub, we piss off some samurai, and have to teach them some manners. After that beatdown, a mysterious lady gets us out of bother with the Matsume commander. Alongside her, we track some Ninetales, and I have to say, she's suspiciously sneaky for a random musician. After hunting them down, we discover it's going to be a bit difficult getting information from anyone we capture.
Suicide is badass!
And continuing on with the main quest, we make our way through a hideout and discover a cipher.
Maybe I can use this to escape.
And of course, this cipher is what you need to solve the puzzles around this area, which would have been incredibly convenient for the past 4 hours of puzzle solving. Lesson learned, that maybe doing a couple of early missions in a new area could be beneficial. We crack on and unlock another new armor set, the Shinobi armor. My favourite armour in the game, not just in terms of looks, but its bonuses to quickfire weapons make it amazing when you build a loadout based around the kunai. And with that, we've now built all my loadouts for the rest of the game. Wandering into a garden, we get some flashbacks to Atsu's childhood with her mum, and at the end of it, we fittingly learn the final song in the shamisen to get the Like Mother, Like Daughter trophy. It also means we can track all the collectibles needed for various collectible trophies, with exception to the bowing spots and the Sumi paintings. Right, cracking on, we sneak past the Matsume leader's camp, and Oyuki helps us solve the Kitsune puzzles and avoid traps on the floor. Could she actually be... Nah, surely not. Well, we eventually find where the Kitsune has been getting the flowers for his poison and chase him through the fields, ready to take him on. While fighting, it's revealed that he hasn't always been a Kitsune.
Anyone can wear a mask.
No, in fact, someone else was before him. Mind's blown, we get distracted and take a poison kunai, ending the fight. Before he can strike the final blow, however, Oyuki drops in and saves us, in the process revealing that she is in fact...
Oh my god!
Aye, well, she's obviously the Kitsune. But you know, I can joke all I want, it actually took me way too long to figure that out. With the big reveal, however, we finally gain the Ghost of Yōtei title, along with a scene showing Saito is setting the dogs on us. Following on, we meet back up with Yoki and decide to let bygones be bygones, learning her story in the process. This also gives us the Woman Behind the Mask trophy. We also learn how to listen into our surroundings better to see enemies, and if I can give you one piece of advice when you play this story, especially on Lethal, start with Teshio Ridge. The armour sets, weapons and abilities are far more useful than those that I found in Ishikawa Plains, and it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. She also teaches us how to resist the Kitsune's poison, which we're going to need when we go up against him. As we fight our way through a cave system to the boss arena, I think to myself, surely to God this can't go as badly as the Oni.
No.
I'm going to keep the Ninetales armour on for this fight actually, because unlike the first game, we can use quickfire weapons and duels, and with the charm that ignites our kunai on fire, we can interrupt and stagger a lot of attacks. As well, unlike the Oni, we want to be staying as close as possible, as he has an ability where he jumps backwards and swings the ball incredibly fast. Once we get his health low enough, we also enter a second phase where the arena fills with smoke and we have to use our new hearing ability before he can hit us. A few attempts later, I finally start to see the pattern, and with that, I think you know what time it is. Shite. Well, through a combination of kunai and using heavy attacks with the ball and chain and a touch of Oni's flame, we're finally able to get through to the next phase. Now, we can't forget, I managed to get through the Oni's first phase in just 2 attempts, so I'm not going to get too cocky here.
Fight back!
Japanese man.
Fight back!
Japanese man.
Fight back! Fight back!
Oh, well, never mind. Jealous of the Kitsune getting tag teamed by 2 Japanese women, we beat him off in the first try. With that, we grab the Kitsune trophy. We're now ready to head to the final area of the game, Oshima Coast. Kicking off chapter 2, we make our way to the coast just in time for Saito's imminent invasion. Fighting our way through, we finally unlock the weapon I've been waiting for all game.
Oh my god. I get it.
Now, all I want to do is... With that, we also pick up the Tech Aim trophy. We also find out that our brother has a Wayne. Time to be an excellent role model. Going a little gun crazy, I rush straight over to Matchlock Murata to get the pistol, which acts as a quick fire weapon, letting us quick draw during standoffs. Not only does unlocking it give us the quick draw trophy, but it helps us grab another trophy, firing from the hip. During the mission he gives us, I find the 5th and final reliquary to unlock the Mountain Boy trophy. With this area, we also unlock the final raw material, gun parts. This lets us finish our dad's katana, unlock the like father, like daughter trophy. The extra damage is going to come in handy, as we still have 2 of the hardest jewels in the game left. With all these new upgrades, why not grab the final couple of armor sets in the game? First, we follow a side quest to unlock Genji's guard armor. I knew there'd be an armor set based around guns in this game, but to be honest, I was quite disappointed to learn it's more defensive than offensive. Although in this area, I feel like a big fish in a wee barrel. Next, in completing the final hot spring in the game, we unlock the Fundoshi armor. Perfect for all you perverts out there. More importantly, however, with all the armor in the game unlocked, we grab the For All Occasions trophy. I did say earlier that towards the end of the game the trophies start piling in fast, and I didn't lie. Clearing the final camps in this area, we also pick up the For the Living trophy. Next, I unleash the beast, fully upgrade Kiba, and in the process, nab the Rules of Ezo trophy. Now that the trophies are piling in, we aren't too far away from wrapping up. So I just want to take a second and say, if you're still watching, I really can't thank you enough. It's been a bucket list item of mine to make a full YouTube video and post it, and if anyone watches it, well, that's just a bonus. And if you have left the video on while you fall asleep, then subscribe, 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 subscribe. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Left to babysit, we continue our track record of being an excellent babysitter by teaching Kiku the art of breaking and entering. We are then told that the dragon is held up at a lighthouse, so we go after him. On the way, I hit a major brick wall, trying to get through his defences. Remember what I said about being a fish in a barrel. Eventually though, we brute force our way through and confront him, only for him to take a high dive and escape. Ah well, I've only one shrine left to find for the Mind, Body and Spirit trophy, but for the life of me I cannot find it. I thought I had it when I stumbled onto this forgotten shrine, but alas, this is more of an Easter egg. I really like this bit, so I'm not going to spoil it, but you should definitely check it out for yourself if you enjoyed the first game. However, what I will say is that completing it, we are rewarded with another trophy. So given all these collectible trophies I'm knocking out, I decided to don my leather jacket and pish yellow mullet and start knocking out the remaining bounties. Doing so nets me the Master Bounty Hunter trophy. With that, I can finally put him to rest. Good night, dog. Sleep. Oh, what's this article? Nah. 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 Well, I wish I'd have looked a bit deeper into him before all the references, but let's just move right on past that. With the dragon out of reach, let's turn our eyes to his brother. Making our way to his camp, we're joined by Oyuki, and brilliant, our brother's preteen daughter. Perhaps now is the time to truly show her how to be good. Oh well, next time maybe. If you're wondering how we ended up in this state, when confronting the spider, we might have gotten a bit carried away and entered the new ghost stance, which is more like the ghost stance in the first game and requires just a few more kills without being hit to enter, unlike the Onyo's Wrath ability. On a lighter note though, we pick up the Ghost Wrath trophy. To get back into Kiku's good books, we take a family trip up to a shrine where we enter perhaps the 3rd hardest jewel in the game. You know, best of all, I thought it'd be funnier for the video if I absolutely mogged her, but as you can see, she genuinely beat me. Wee shy. Of course, the good times can never last, so we now use the captured spider to lure out his brother. In typical fashion, things don't go to plan, and both brothers end up getting the jump on us, entering another jewel. Well, so far the Oni was the hardest, the Kitsune the easiest, so let's see how the brothers will fare. Not great. So not only do we have to duel more than one Yotei 6 member, the other one is taking pop shots at us from the side like we're trying to debate college kids. To top it all off, their bullet shots are unparryable and kill me in one hit, so we have to dodge them perfectly every time. Sometimes they even shoot at the same time. It looks like this might be going the same way as the Oni. I'm trying all my dirty tricks, using my own guns to even the playing field, but my bullets seem to have been replaced by Nerf bullets. This isn't going to be a dramatic victory, even if I manage to, so let's not even bother with the... Hey, I said no. Let's just... Right, fine. Let's just get it over with. Aye. Very good. Unable to contain my jealousy of Atsu being tag teamed by 2 Japanese men, I want to get this over and done with. So in my rage, I suspend the duel and head to Murata to upgrade my guns to hopefully cause more damage to chip away until I can win. I then learned that when you suspend the duel, the game just lets you start the mission right at the beginning of the duel again, not the entire mission. Ah well, re-entering the duel, let's just throw everything at him. Oh, sweet relief. And with that, we pick up the dragon trophy. So it turns out that shrine we were missing wasn't a shrine at all, it was a bamboo strike at home, and I only noticed it when taking Kiku to hide. Treating the bamboo like it's nothing personal, I finally get the mind, body, and spirit trophy. Right, let's chase the Incy Wincy spider up the water spout. Eventually, after dueling the spider, out came the rain and washed the spider out. Nothing too exciting with this duel, but it does come with the spider trophy. The spider now promises to take us to Saito's fortress, hidden somewhere between here and Teshio Ridge, but we are warned that this is the point of no return, so let's do some final cleanup. Since we almost have all of the fox dens completed, let's finish up the Guardian of Inari trophy. I looked around for a good while for this, making my way through an extensive list, one by one, only to discover that actually, the final shrine is unlocked after doing all the others, which, of course, I already had, and is found in this grove I discovered 10 hours ago in Teshio Ridge. Clearly, I missed the context clues that would have made that obvious, but you know what, I am sick of puzzles. Taking a break from the collectibles, I play a children's game to pick up the perfect aim trophy. Right. Now down to the nitty-gritty. Sumi paintings and bowing spots needed for the artist's eye and speaking to the land trophies respectively can't be directly tracked using guiding wind. So instead, we're going to turn to our old pal. That slog over, we paint a masterpiece and get swarmed by insects to pick up both trophies. Returning to those puzzle boxes from earlier, we grit our teeth and play the Japanese Rubik's Cubes until finally my least favourite trophy in the game pops. Trickster Fox. And now, before the final encounter, there's only one thing left to do. Defeat Takezo. Again. No fake out, not saying let's see how this goes and cutting to me dying instantly, and definitely no fucking edit. This fight is just hard. He's faster than any enemy we fought before, and his attacks still kill in one hit, like every enemy that we fought before. But worst of all, he can just ignore some of our hits and move straight through them. This isn't the Ghost of Tsushima, however, and I have 0 honour left, so we're going to shoot, I'm blind, and... wait, he can't hit me if he doesn't have a sword. That's it. I beat him. There it is, the trophy. Well, that was anticlimactic. Look, if you were here for a prolonged battle of endurance, I'm sorry, but I'm not that guy, pal. If you beat him with just your sword and skill, well done, you're better than me. I hope that makes you happy. But I've been playing this game on lethal for 55 hours, and I'm employed, alright? I'm knackered, and it's time to end this.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too damn bad!
Meeting the spider, we make our way to the fortress and go our separate ways. After finding and saving our brother Naoki from execution, we figure out that this was a trap and get ambushed. We put Hondora's noggin to good use again and race towards our family home, where Saito awaits to end things. Right, let's get stuck in. In the first phase, Saito uses all the weapons we've unlocked up until this point. The no-brainer here is to use the Undying Armor to weapon align each time he swaps. That way, we can utilise their triangle attacks to interrupt him. But let's not forget our dirtier side. We can also use our gun and quickfire weapons to interrupt as well. And we'll utilise these gaps to get some chip damaging. To improve this, I've also equipped a pretty overpowered charm that reloads my my rifle. To improve this, I've also equipped a pretty overpowered charm that reloads my rifle when it's on my back. Stringing this all together, we get through the first phase quickly. In the second phase, Junbei joins in to help. Sneaking in attacks when he's distracted, we can easily finish the fight and trigger the final cutscene. So, is this just going to be like Takezo again? Not so sure the game is going to end with Junbei getting stabbed. Oh god, could it be? Third phase has hit the jewel. Ah well, the first two weren't so hard, and this time he's only using a katana. How hard can it be? Dirty bastard. He's just like me. This time, he also has a spirit bar, and when it's full, it lets him do special moves that are an absolute nightmare to parry. Worst of all, I'm out of bullets, quickfire weapons, and spirit, which means in this hardest phase, I have to beat him without cheating. But it's fine. Grit those teeth, and with enough practice, I'll nail the timings and finally put this game to bed. Yes, you are reading that correctly. 96 deaths. Jesus, Mary and the wee donkey. At this point, I've just gone numb. My facial expression hasn't changed in an hour and a half. I feel like I'm in a trance. Fight, die, repeat. Fight, die, repeat. Fight, die, suspend duel. Okay, time to wake up. I quickly do the rounds and purchase every kunai, bullet, smoke bomb, and Oni's breath I can carry. First phase, no using spirit or quickfire weapons, just pure skill and adrenaline. Second phase, sorry Junbei, you're gonna have to take the licks. And now, for the final phase. Fully stocked. You know what? It's time. Cue that fucking edit. With that blow, I genuinely, and this isn't a spoof, dropped the controller due to the sweat that was pulled on my palms. With that, the Onyo, and more importantly me, can finally rest. We bagged the Ghost of Yōtei Platinum on Lethal. Look, if you want an in-depth and insightful review of the game, apologies, you're not going to get it from me. I basically enjoy everything I consume if it was made by somebody else. I actually walked out of Batman vs Superman and loved it. Yes, the Martha one. What I can tell you is that the lethal difficulty is no joke. You're left with no room for error, and every opponent is a jewel. There are times when you want to bamboo strike your controller. But in the end, if you ask me, would I go back and do it again? Obviously fucking not. Did you see the bit where I died 96 times in one phase in one of the jewels? However, as always, it was all worth it to open up that trophy list and see the 100%. Ah, furt.